Hey guys, Rich Lopez with the Drop Time Traditions podcast. Today I'm recording on Saturday of all things. Usually it's a Tuesday. My guest is Mr. Anders. Is it Geger or Jeger?
Yeah, it's Geir, I guess. It's
Jaeger. Okay, that's
yeah,
cool. Hailing from Sweden, I believe, correct?
correct.
Okay, so we're on I think
From
a
the other
six.
side of the puddle.
Yes, absolutely. That's a hell of a puddle.
Mm.
Um, but before we get into it, I want to just acknowledge my supporters: Stickbow Country Custom Arrows, Traps Feather Rests, Traditional Bowhunter Magazine, Sauk Trail Archery, StickbowSupplies.com, Whiskey City Trad Gear or WCTrad.com, Jessie Savage Blacksmith.com, TraditionalJunk.com, St. Joe River Bow Company, TheEthicalPredator.com, and StickbowHuntsMX.com. That's the guys from Mexico. That's where I'm going to be bow hunting in about 4 weeks. And so, Anders, where were you born, raised? Give us a brief bio, if you would.
I was born in Sweden, just south of Stockholm. This was in the early 60s. Let's not dwell on an exact date there. It's 60 something years ago, anyway.
Yeah.
I got four kids. We live on a farm now, 60 k's out of Stockholm. I think it's about 40, 45 miles.
Okay.
Your measurements, it's an hour drive or slightly less than that. I've been through high school and I took geology in at uni. So that's the background. I've been hunting for about, I'd say 50 years now.
Now, how did you get introduced into archery?
Uh, I do not know. I think I was 3 years when I built my first bow.
Okay. Okay.
Some
And
poor bush got ripped out and or chopped off the mother's lawn, and
Mhm.
that turned into a bow, and from there I've been into archery.
So, as far as hunting is concerned, was that introduced to you through a family member or it just came naturally?
My father passed away when I was 10, 11, and he hunted it slightly with a shotgun, and
Hmm.
and I mean, my uncle hunted. So,
Okay.
so, so I guess he's the one that conveyed the hunting part to me.
Okay. Now, do you ever gun hunt or just strictly bow?
No, I hunt. I use any tools, any means possible. I have dogs, shotguns,
Yes.
rifles, traps, dogs.
Okay.
We
All around.
everything. We are not particular about anything. If we can hunt, we hunt.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm of the same mindset myself. I gun and bow hunt. They call that here in the United States, they call that a two-season hunter. Um,
Okay.
and Fred Bear, I believe, was the one who coined that phrase back in the
Oh,
day.
yeah.
So, tell us about European hunting. From what I've understood, and I may be incorrect here, is that it's very different in that there's a lot of restrictions depending on the country that you're hunting. Is that correct?
Yes. I think we're getting into a headache discussion here. We need whiskey or something, to sort this out. I mean, Europe it is slightly less than you guys. You are about 50 independent states, and we have about 30 something independent nations. So, and every nation, of course, has their own hunting regulations. But like you guys, we have actually federal. We have something they call the Habitat Directive that is run by European Union and Berne Convention that governs some of the management, I should say, not hunting, because it's not intended to manage the hunting. But um, and then these nations, are also, if you look at Spain, Italy, Germany, Switzerland, Austria, they are federations.
Okay.
So, so every valley in Switzerland or in Austria is basically their own independent area, and they have different hunting laws. So Yeah, it is very fragmented, I'd say, you know. So today we count around 16 to 17 nations in Europe that is possible to bow hunt in out of 30 something.
Now, I've become acquainted to you through a mutual friend of ours, Jim Thompson. How do you know Jim? Jim's in Maryland. So did he come to Europe
No,
or
no, 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 no. Jim, oh, it's a long story, but
we got time?
yeah, we I think it started with we had a project, you know, trying to support the possibility of hunting muskox on Greenland.
Okay.
And we have Frank Feldman is the guy that is actually the key person there. And he was spearheading this. And all of a sudden he got some type of permission, you know. So we were there very early. There was a test hunt 1 or 2 years before with the Danish guys that went, and everything went successful. And of course, it was red tape, and it has to be. So we were, I think, part of the first group, and so I get this CJ Winan from
Oh yeah.
Bowhunter magazine. You know
Yeah.
him? Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a decent friend of mine. This is to piss him off a little bit. He's only a
Well, I
decent friend.
actually before I moved to Florida, when I lived in Maryland, I only lived a couple of miles away from CJ. So I would see
Wow.
him. I would see him
Yeah,
quite often.
yeah, he's a nice guy.
Yep.
So CJ gets on the email and he tells us that he's gonna go on a bison hunt, and I kind of sat by the computer, and as I responded, you know, within 5 minutes that no, yeah, that's cool. I'm going on a muskox hunt. And you know, 30 seconds later, it pings into the computer a new message from CJ. How can I join? And I responded immediately, no Yanks allowed, you know. And then I asked Frank about that, and is it possible to bring Bowhunter magazine and Bowhunting? I think it was Bowhunting TV actually
Mhm.
was. So that's really how we met, you know, in the airport in Narsarsuaq or Kagloklak or one of those airports, you know. So that's
Mhm.
how I run into Jim as a super nice guy. He was the videographer there.
Okay. That's a tale of that's a small world actually, if you think about it. Because, like you said, you're across the pond from me, and I know the same people you know, and that's awesome. I think that's awesome.
I
So,
think it's
in Europe, what is the primary game animal that people go after?
um it depends. Yeah, I'd say what is ever present is always wild boar, you know,
Hmm.
Suskrofa, which is Russian boar, or I think you mentioned Russian boars for European wild boars. So that is very, very common, and they have spread like wildfire all over the place.
Yeah.
I think, and they have been introduced to the UK even, so they have, of course, a problem with them. So, and wild boars are always a problem, you know. They breed very quickly and so on. So that's of course also a prime target for all the hunting. I think in France only they harvest 600,000 a year,
Wow.
with with all means, with all means.
Yeah.
So
I've seen
and
some of the
then
videos. It's pretty insane.
yeah,
They're huge.
yeah. I mean, if you look into, there are some subspecies, you know, going east. You have Suskrofa Attila in Turkey that grows up to 300, 400 kilos.
Okay.
So you double that when you go to pounds, or 2.2 actually. So
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
yeah, so
They
that's a lot. And then roe deers are common. You know, it's a
mhm.
tiny deer. I should have brought a European mount here for you. I can get one of the kids to pick one up.
Okay.
But red deer, which is similar to your elk, slightly smaller though.
Hmm.
You have a fallow deer, Central Europe, of course, fallow deer, we have them up here as well. Mouflon, Corsican ram, I think they're called on your end.
Yep.
And then up here we have a lot of moose, you know. I mean, in 1984, and this is just to give you an idea, Sweden only, the harvest one was 176,200 or 300 moose in one season.
Wow.
But that has diminished now. So we have an increased wolf population and bear population and wolverine population and so on. I don't think the wolverines are doing so much damage as the brown bears and the wolves are. And of course, there was an active depredation on the moose because we could not get any forest to grow anymore.
Okay.
And Sweden is very dependent on forestry.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to go and visit. I plan on going to Europe next year, so maybe I'll drop in. So
the door is open, you know, and you're welcome. Where are your folks from? Where are your family from? In Europe or?
Oh, I have no family there.
Oh, okay.
It's always been on, you know, at the age of 65, I said to my wife, I want to spend our last years traveling. So I think we're going to take a 21-day trip.
Stretch it to a little bit more. There is a lot to look at.
Yeah.
She of course wants to go to Paris, Venice, and those places.
No, she has no desire.
Okay.
I'm all into culture, architecture, and just vast beauty. I just want to see those things. Nice. And you know, encounter the culture.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, give me a ring. You're welcome.
I will
sort you out.
So, as far as hunting is concerned, is it seasonal? Is it specific times of the year? Do you guys focus on the rut?
That's a too big question there. But what we can say is that this habitat directive actually governs hunting season. So there is basically hunting during the rut is regulated.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, if I talk about Sweden, I can hunt roebucks from the 16th of August until the last of January.
Okay.
And there is no quota on it, so to say. So if I'm a landowner, and this is also a huge difference from you guys, because usually, unless you're in the southern states, you have a quota, you know, you can buy 3 or 4 licenses. And you can hunt state land. State land, basically, the American system is not in effect here. Like you can go to a gas station or a sports store and buy a license and hunt state land. So you have to acquire a lease or buy yourself into a lease or buy land on own land or know someone that has land.
Okay.
So some slow reproducing animals are on quota. So me and my neighbor, for example, we can harvest 1 adult moose every 3 years because we only have 220 acres or something together.
Okay. So,
or we can harvest 1 calf every year. And then on roe deer or fallow deer, I can harvest as many as I want to.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, so the hunters have some kind of judgment because since they own the land or lease the land, they know that you overharvest 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
There will be a problem, you know, next year. The hunting will not be as good. And then, of course, you have diseases and stuff that. So it's not an easy answer to that. I went to Italy and hunted 2 years ago for roe deer, roebuck.
Mm-hmm.
I got a very nice roebuck there, and I also bought a dog, a Bavarian tracking dog, from the guys. But there their hunting lease have a strict quota.
Okay.
So I think they have 80 wild boars, and they had 3 chamois,
Chamois.
which is
Yeah.
chamois, and then they had, I can't remember how many red deer they had, but everything was on a strict quota, and it's also the quota is also down to gender. So red stags, they had a certain set quota. Adult females was a quota, and then the wild boar was more open. I think the
Sure.
quota was 80, and then I think they could add to that if there was a possibility. And that is very normal when you go
Hmm.
down south. And another interesting aspect is if you hunt capercaillie, which is a big black grouse, it's like our turkey, but they are
Okay.
half the size.
Okay.
So capercaillie is what it called, big black. Uh, and in Germany and Austria, you have a lifetime quota of 1 in many places.
Hmm.
That's it. You
Well,
get your license for 1, and then it's over.
that's it. Yeah.
Over up here, we're in Finland and Sweden, the quota is the hunting season. I think the hunting season starts the 21st of August, and then we can hunt them to the 15th of February.
Okay. Now, you mentioned earlier about natural predators. You have brown bear, which I would think is like a grizzly.
Correct, it's exactly the same bear.
Okay, same bear. And I would imagine wolverines are just picking up the scraps after a kill, if you will.
They are tough on reindeer. We
Okay.
don't have caribou here, but they harvest quite a few reindeer, and they can even get on the moose calves, the yearlings. They
Now
are ferocious, tiny ones, 30 pound, but they are.
they're ferocious. Yeah.
They have a different mentality.
Yeah. I could imagine. Now, wolves, is it a gray wolf, a red wolf, or a mix?
I think it's a gray wolf.
Gray
It's
wolf. Okay.
the Canis lupus
Hmm.
standard wolf there. So, and this is also a thing that it's of course very complicated over here. With wolf management and the wolf has actually been, by this habitat directive, it's been slightly delisted. There are 5 levels, and now it's on level 4 instead of being most threatened. It's only to threatened, which means some nations do actually manage them successfully. And I know Finland had a quota now and a hunt on in January here, and they harvested 100 wolves in a few weeks actually, and this was their first season for wolves in 3 years, because it's always obstructed, by the gray people. Why do we call them gray? Because they're colorless.
Mhm.
They have no color. They always want to say no.
Yeah, the gray, as they say, there's no gray area with me. That's basically, I'm a black and white person. So, yeah,
Okay.
I'm very forward. But I understand, and I think my listeners understand too. The libs. Uh,
Yes. I think they like to say no to everything. And I mean, the issue with wolves, now we're not talking bow hunting, but just general game management. It's exactly the same as in the US. It's on and off, this wolf management thing. Some people claim there's not a problem at all, and of course wolves were extinguished
mhm.
at some point, and that was because there was, of course, massive damages to farming in the 18th or 19th century, early on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess you don't have wolves in Maryland at the moment.
Well, I'm actually not in Maryland. I moved to Florida. So
Ah,
4 years ago. We have no wolves that I'm aware of, but we have panthers
yeah,
here. And it's a very
nice.
diverse state as far as game is concerned. It's interesting. I still go to Maryland to hunt every year.
All
Uh,
right.
they're bigger. They're just bigger animals. And yeah, it's nothing for me to see a 200-pound buck, or better. So up that way. But at any rate, talking to Jim, he and I banter back and forth. He mentioned that you're about your Greenland trip there. Now, is there an actual bow hunting season in Greenland?
There is not a specialized bow hunting season. There is a hunting season for
Okay.
both reindeer or caribou and muskox.
Oh, excellent. Now,
Mm.
is it open to let's say, a non-resident, myself? If I wanted to hunt there.
I believe you have to go with the guide.
Okay.
So it's only open to hunting with a guide or an outfitter, I'd say. An
Okay.
outfitter is probably more correct.
So the recent temperature, the political temperature, as we all know from watching the news about Greenland, has any of that, does any of that threaten bow hunting or hunting?
I have really not. I saw the question, and I'm hesitant to respond to it. Actually,
Okay.
I don't see. And I mean, I listened to the news just 20 minutes before we started talking, and it's still up in the air. What's going to happen and how and when. And I think the natives there should be the ones that actually decide the whole thing.
I agree. I agree.
But and yeah,
I mean,
there has
I have no dog in that fight. You know what I'm saying?
no
This is
no.
just a political stranglehold, if you will. And it's like I shake my head. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just curious how it would, let's say it did happen. Uh, I don't think it will, but let's say it did happen. I don't think they would care less about the hunting. Tell you the truth, it would just continue on.
Yeah, I mean, it's so far away. The only difference would be that there would be direct flights from the US to Greenland.
Yeah.
Today, to hunt there, and the guys at Bowhunter magazine, they have been there several times. And you can talk to CJ about this. They actually have to fly to Copenhagen and then go back west. So first they fly all the way to Copenhagen, Denmark, and then they have to fly back into Katusakak or whatever it's called. They have these native names on everything now
Sure,
in
sure.
Greenland. Yeah,
So let's talk strictly archery. Let's get into archery. Traditional archery, the primitive bow, recurve, longbow, self bow. Is that a thing in Europe?
absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you if you move south into Hungary and France, they do quite a lot of driven hunts together with rifle hunters actually,
Hmm.
and they also hunt hares. They walk them up. Is that the right?
Yeah, basically
Yeah,
spot and stalk.
no, it's actually they do
Oh,
drives.
oh,
They
drive them.
walk.
Okay,
They
okay,
drive them, yes,
okay.
on open fields, and then they use recurve and traditional gear a lot, in that way. I was actually in Morocco, and I did not bring a bow because we're working on an opening there for bow hunting in Morocco. Currently, it's only open for
Hmm.
Aoudad
That,
sheep, the
that
Berber
that's
Barbary sheep.
it's a very large sheep.
Yeah, yeah, and it's quite. If you want to hunt them in Morocco currently, the price tag is 40,000.
Wow, that's
Yes, I
amazing.
know. Yeah,
And they live at pretty high elevations, don't they?
yeah, I think it's 3-4 thousand feet there in the
Mm.
Atlas Mountain is what
Yeah.
they call the. So, but we're moving into opening up. They have a lot of wild boar in North Africa.
Okay.
So I actually turned because I didn't bring a bow. I just flew down there to sit in the meetings with the hunting association and the landowners association, and so basically I was a hostage, being the president of the European Bowhunting Federation. So they needed me there. Uh, And so I borrowed a recurve bow, and I actually harvested a mallard.
Excellent.
Yes, with
Wonderful.
my recurve bow. This is probably 20 years since I harvested anything with a recurve.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So tell us about the European Hunting Federation. What's that all about?
European Bowhunting Federation, we actually federate all these nations that have an active bowhunting fraternity
Hmm.
or an association. So and we work to promote, the use of bow and arrow. As I mentioned, about half the nations in Europe actually allow it in some way.
Hmm.
And we have opened up bow hunting in, for example, Bulgaria, which was completely closed 15 years ago. I think it's about 8, 10 years ago that was open. And Denmark has been possible to hunt roe deers, but the larger deer species have not been possible to hunt. So we have been supportive in that sense, and the same thing in Finland. Today my whitetail hunting, for example, all happens in Finland today,
Hmm.
because Finland has a very large population of whitetail deer.
Wow.
So yeah, that's another strange thing. And then Czech Republic has a few ones, but they are in enclosures. But in Finland, they're free ranging. Um, Yes, and so we support the nations with information, basically, and
Hmm.
it can be derived from Europe. Different nations have had different investigation into this. Lot of discussions is always about animal welfare, of course, because it's an issue that all the authorities like to look at. So but we see, we shoot an arrow into a deer and it dies. It's only seconds before it
Right.
expires,
It's
and
a
then so
it's a
yeah,
proven
it
method.
since I think 64,000 years ago is the
Yeah.
oldest stuff they found now in, I think France was where they found some really
Hmm.
really old stuff last year. What else was the question here? You have to put me
No,
back
well,
on
no,
track there. Yeah.
the European Bowhunting Federation.
Yeah, and
Is there a website?
absolutely. Europeanbowhunting.org. And there you can actually, if someone has an interest in coming, they can see if it's allowed or not possible to bow hunt. We're also been supported strongly by Archery Trade Association. The ATA
Okay.
community has supported us. And we also have a good cooperation with NBF, International Bowhunter Education Foundation. So the Greenland story actually starts there, with CJ being on the board of National Bowhunter Education Foundation. So that's how I met CJ the first time, and that's how that email came with the bison thing and the green and the muskox thing.
Okay.
So both those American organizations have been very good for us.
So I'm looking at the window over your left shoulder. Is that snow I see out there?
Yeah, we had about 25 inches here. Now it's packed up, and we have a crust now. So I was actually out with a chainsaw doing a massacre on firewood for next winter here,
Okay.
just
Yeah.
2 hours ago.
Well, somebody in the background also
And
turned. I'm sorry, go on.
no, go ahead.
Somebody turned the
I
light.
also fell a bunch of aspen trees as well.
Okay.
So the deer really like the bark and the sprouts of aspen.
Okay.
Poplar. I think you call it poplar.
Yeah, poplar for sure.
Mm.
So somebody in the room turned a light on, which really brightened up your view. So tell them thank you for me. I'm I'm working on a chest cold here, so you have to excuse me if I cough.
Mm.
So, have you ever hunted outside of Europe?
Yeah, I've been a lot in the US actually. So I've been
Okay.
hunting. Maryland is still on my it's a blank spot there. So if I invite you to come here with your wife, then I guess there will be repercussions lately.
Yes. Yes.
I'll see you in Maryland. But anyway, so I've been hunting in Colorado and Idaho and Iowa and Montana and so on, and I've been New York. Where else? I've been in Canada several times. I was in
Okay.
Alaska, was it 40 years ago or 35 years ago? And I've hunted Africa, South Africa mainly. And I was a week and a half in Zimbabwe. I've been in New Zealand, and then I've been hunting different countries in Europe, of course, Portugal and Hungary, Finland, Denmark. Yeah, and then I've hunted with rifle many other places.
Okay.
So
Now, I would imagine most European people that I know speak several languages. Do you speak several languages?
oh yeah, I speak English and Swedish decent, and then I can get by on German, and that's about it.
Okay. Yeah, I speak Portuguese, Spanish, and English, of
Wow.
course. Yeah.
Mm. But then
Um,
you can get by in France as well and in Italy decently with those Latin languages are similar.
yeah, I can get by. Just I know the basics.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all that
Good,
matters.
good. That's not so common with US residents.
Well, I had I had the well, I shouldn't say a misfortune, the fortunate to know a person that was from Brazil, and
Mm.
they taught me the Portuguese language when I was a younger
Ah,
man. So,
yes, yes.
and Spanish has always been my second language, being Puerto Rican and Colombian. I don't look it, but I am, and I look like my
How
grandfather,
how's the hunting there in Colombia is open, huh? You can bow hunt there.
from what I understand. I
But
don't.
but
I,
Puerto Rico is completely closed to hunting, or
no, you can hunt in Puerto Rico, but you have to go through a process.
okay, okay,
And there's certain islands where they'll allow you, passage to there, and you can hunt goats and pigs and things of that nature. But the terrain is very unforgiving. A lot of
it's
rock,
jungle.
yeah,
Yeah,
jungle and rock. A lot of,
okay.
so
Oh yeah.
I've
Hmm.
never hunted there. I would like to at some point, but that's again another time. For another time, another place.
Another
So
adventure. I like
yeah,
adventures, you
I
know.
do too. I tend,
That's
as I've gotten older, I'm taking more and more risks. I don't know why, but you think I would calm down a little bit, but no.
mm.
So tell us a favorite hunting story, one that maybe raised the hair on the back of your neck.
Ah, that's history, you know. So I tend to look at the future, my next hunt, you know. That's my best hunt in the future. But I enjoy just like you guys. I mean, when I talk to my US friends, whitetail is religion in
Yeah.
your country. And
Yep.
I love my roe deers, you know. So
Okay.
and my dream is to harvest a big roe deer stag, but they are extremely cunning. Very similar deer, actually. Roe deer, not in size, but in behavior, you know. They are solitary animals. They don't herd up, you know, like other fallow deer or reds are. They're herding up, but and I find them very similar. So yeah, but a harrowing hunt, you know. I mean, I hunted up in I've hunted black bears many times in the Canada,
Okay.
and I did harvest a decent size, you know, 6 foot black bear or 5'8" black bear, and he's of course running away. They run, you know, 40 yards and then they pile up and do the somersault and all that. And so I'm walking down there, and and then all of a sudden I have other bears coming and trying to eat this thing, and yeah, so that's when we start crying, you know, and try to scare them off.
Hmm.
But I've and another time that was also a very very strange situation. I harvested a whitetail doe in this was with an outfit called Barnyard Bucks of Kentucky. So it must have been in conjunction with the ATA show somehow.
Yeah.
So Barnyard Bucks of Kentucky, I don't think they're in business anymore because it was a strange outfit. But they drove me out to this farm and yeah, I sat in this stand and this doe came by and I'm happy, you know, I like to hunt. So I harvested her and walked back to a small cabin we had there because I was cold. And then no one was there as I was on my own. So I walked back down to the deer because I wanted to take some decent pictures, you know, and I think I grabbed the knife as well. And when I'm coming back, I have two dogs there that have started chewing on my deer.
Oh.
So one was this Cujo-looking thing.
No.
You're old enough to have seen the movie Cujo.
Yeah. Yes.
A big dog, you know, and then there is a smaller dog there, and they're of course protecting this deer. So I grabbed this 3-inch, you know, wide branch. So I'm rushing the dogs, and the bow is somehow by the deer, and so I don't have my bow, and so I'm rushing them, you know, and I'm banging this branch into a tree and it explodes. It's completely rotten, you know. And then I realize I'm standing there with this stump. So they backed off, actually. The dogs backed off, which was good, you know, because I would have been, yeah, just a victim there. And it was an elderly couple that had probably 40 dogs, and I just let them run.
Oh no, that's not good.
No. So they were, of course, feeding on deer. So these guys were, yeah. I think 22 went into play there when the guy came with a four-wheeler later on
Okay.
and made a little damage on the dogs.
I had an experience similar to that. Oh, I'm going back 20 years ago, and I was hunting in Maryland. It was a private property, and this lady, I had done some work at her house, and she says, "Hey," I asked her, "Do you have deer that come in here and in the woods through behind your house?" She goes, "Oh yeah. If you want to hunt, you're more than happy to come." Well,
Nice.
and she had two Irish wolfhounds.
Oh.
Okay, you know how big those suckers are,
Mm.
but they were friendly to me when I was in the house. Well, I was in up a tree and I'm in the woods and I could see the house in the distance, but I didn't think anything of it. A deer comes in and I shoot this doe, similar to you. And all of a sudden, I look in the background and I see the dogs coming into the woods from the backyard. She let them out and they made a beeline to my deer while I'm there, ready to dress it. And they were like circling me and growling and making all sorts of
Wow.
intimidating noise. And at that point, I was not too concerned for the deer. I was more concerned for myself. So I
Right.
slowly backed away
Uh-huh.
and vacated the property, never to return. So I know that they finished, they had a nice meal.
Maybe that was her plan. You feed her dogs.
Yeah, maybe. I never found out again. So that was, yeah,
That
that was
was
very,
it for that
yeah,
hunting property, huh?
yeah. I'm not good with dogs, even though I'm a proud dog owner.
Yeah.
But dogs that are not well trained can be a very dangerous thing.
And that size, you know, that's
Yeah,
something else. I mean,
yeah,
they will hurt you
yes, they
if they
will.
decide. Yeah. Mm.
Yep, yep.
Oh. So now I run a Bavarian tracking dog now, a special breed. It's like a bloodhound, but very much smaller. And he's a sniffer, you know. The Atom, they call him. He was named Atom. I brought him back from Italy, actually.
Okay.
Very kindly. I got a good price on the dog there. So I flew down there and picked him up. And now
Mm.
he's our main tracking. And I know this is very different from you guys. We basically have to have a dog, a tracking dog, trained tracking dog, accessible within 2 hours. And this
Okay.
is Sweden. And you go to Germany or it's a big, it's like you guys call it the second hunt. There, some guys specialize in tracking game.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
it's a
So
big deal.
so I am in a group here that actually tracks and dispatches traffic wounded deer.
Hmm.
So any deer or bear, I mean, where I live, we don't have bears, but
Hmm.
any large hoofed animal, so wild boar, a deer, mouflon, that is hit by a car has to be called into the police, or the car insurance will not be covered unless they have
Police report.
police report on it. And then if it's left or it's not dead, they will call me and
Okay.
I will go there and dispatch it.
Yeah. Ironically, I work in insurance. That's my full-time job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I deal with deer collisions, moose collisions all the time.
Oh, moose collisions is bad,
Yes, very bad. Very
very
bad.
bad. Deer is okay. Mm.
Yeah, well, no, it depends on where the deer is. Let's say Wisconsin, Michigan, Canada. Listen, yeah, two,
We
three
have.
hundred pounds can do some damage to a small car.
Do you know what that fact actually, that they grow bigger the further north it is? It's a
Yes.
biological term, Bergman's rule.
Yeah, well, they have
The,
to survive.
yeah, yeah.
I think the
Mm.
biggest deer I've seen here in Florida dressed out at about 175 pounds, but that was northern Florida. The
Okay.
top of the state. You go down to,
Georgia,
yeah, up in that
Georgia border.
area,
Mm.
right? Further
All right.
south you go, like I'm in central Florida near Orlando. And so the average deer here, which I have them across the street from my house, average doe would probably weighs about 100 pounds max.
Ah,
So nice looking deer,
yeah.
but it's just too hot. The seasons here are too hot. They start the bow hunting season here in Florida in August. And I mean,
Okay.
it's probably almost 100 degrees. And yeah, not for me. I like cold weather. So,
Yeah.
what other hobbies do you indulge in that involve the outdoors? Obviously,
Uh,
you probably ski, don't you? Or
Yeah, I downhill ski a little bit. I'm fortunate. I have a very wealthy brother, so I've been to British Columbia a couple of times
mm.
down, helicopter skiing.
Oh
But
wow.
that's about it. I hunt. That's my thing. And then I have a farm here, so we're running sheep,
Okay.
and so that takes a lot of time as well. So I hunt. That's what I do.
That's what we love to do.
Yeah,
That's what
that's what we
that's why
love
we're
to
on
do.
this podcast. So, um,
I hunt. And that's another thing I think I have thought. I mean, I'm your age, so I've thought a lot, and I work on my own, every day. So I've thought a lot, what is it we enjoy with hunting? Is
I
it the
think
kill? Some people
no,
talk all about killing, but
no, I
I
think
think what we like is hunting. We like the hunt.
I like the primal instinct,
Yeah,
the internal instinct,
yeah,
the feeling of being a predator, having those skills and honing those skills. I mean, it took me years to figure some things out with whitetails because I didn't have anybody teaching me. Everything
yeah.
I learned was reading a book.
Mm.
And I mean, when I dressed my first animal, I had Xerox copies from the library on how to dress a deer. So I'm looking at this paper and I made a mess, but I got it done. And then now it's second nature. I think
Right.
killing is anticlimactic
Correct.
in anything. I do.
That's when the work starts, and actually it goes from a game or a wildlife piece of wildlife to being a produce.
Mhm.
It's gonna be meat, for you, and that's why I also like my hunting, because I have a relationship to my meat.
Mhm.
I mean, of course, I buy a piece of pork once in a while. I love those pork chops on the barbecue.
Oh
That's
yeah.
that's my weak point. But um, and wild boar is not the same as feral pigs. It's a different. It's too lean actually. So,
Yes.
but I like my wild boars as well. I here on the farm, my son. This is a rifle, of course, but he harvested a 95 kilo. It's a 200-pound wild boar
Mm.
a month ago, basically. We have a killing killing place, or a feeder station is what you would call it.
Yeah.
I kill it a kill plot. But so
Well, here in Florida, we have right now, I think it's gun season in certain parts. But there's pigs everywhere. I mean, they're everywhere. I mean, I
yeah,
see them dead on the road, like you would see a roadkill in Maryland. It would be a deer, but here it would be a pig
a
or a
wild
deer.
boar or
Yeah.
pig. So, but the rifle season is, you can always hunt with a bow during rifle season.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah. Just wear
yeah,
orange. Yeah, you wear
yeah,
orange.
yeah.
Um,
And another thing that I know some guys are asking us about is crossbows. Are they possible to hunt with in Europe or not? The only nation where you can actually hunt with crossbows legally is in Portugal.
okay.
Mm.
Interesting.
So Portugal, they made regulations and they incorporated bow and crossbow there in the early 70s.
Wow. That's amazing. So what hunts or hunt do you have moving into 2026? What are you looking forward to this year?
I love my road deers, you know. So the
Mhm.
16th of May, when the spring season starts there, I will be in Denmark chasing my road deers. But before that, I will go to Namibia for I've never been to Namibia, and I hear it's very nice. I've been to South Africa 5 or 6 times, but never Namibia.
Have you ever hunted
So
Cape buffalo?
yeah, with bow, yes,
Hmm.
in South Africa.
Okay.
But that was a fenced situation, so it's I need to go to Zimbabwe or somewhere to get my free range buffalo.
Hmm.
They're big,
Oh, I
they're
know.
big,
Yeah.
dangerous.
Mabogo.
You need a big bow. You need a. It's
Heavy.
like, yeah, it's like people ask me, can you hunt? What you need to hunt a big game with? Yeah, you need a big game bow, just
Hmm.
like you need a big game rifle for big game. So what I generally use is a compound bow,
Hmm.
since I travel a lot, and it increases my range a little bit. And so I basically use 70 pound, 400 grain arrow. I'm not into the heavy arrow hunting club and all that single bevel bullshit. And if it's white-tailed deer, you know, or deer or
Yeah.
medium-sized animals, I use a big mechanical broadhead. I found those work really well with you have 80 foot-pounds of energy or something like that, you know.
Right.
So it's way beyond. I mean, you have, obviously you hunt a lot with the recurve, and then I'd use a fixed 3-blade broadhead or something.
Yeah, I'm hunting
So
with 170 grain um, two blade Zwickeys, the real wide ones.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
so with the arrow and everything, it's pretty heavy setup, but I need that for a recurve just to
yeah,
push it,
yeah,
push
yeah,
it. So,
yeah.
well,
No, it's that. That's a different discussion. Let's not go there because
oh, I
it
know.
gets religious.
Oh, I know. I know. It's just what I do, but
Yes.
at any rate, so,
Yeah, you have that's what I find with these Ashby guys. They have
oh,
missed
those
one
guys.
thing.
Yes.
They've missed one thing. You have to hit. It's very important to hit the animal in the right place.
Yeah. So you've read the same articles I have.
I guess we're brothers at arms there.
Yes, we are. We are. We are. We are.
Mm.
Uh, well, I've been hunting with the same tools for almost over 50 years,
Yeah.
and I'm a firm believer. If it's not broken, don't try to fix it. Just keep going with what you go. You know.
I guess, when you get our age there, I mean, my guns are just tools today. I don't get excited. It's just a piece of tool, you know.
Yeah, it's
It has to
exactly.
work.
Yes.
So I still have my old Seikos, that are, some of them are older than me,
Ooh, they're nice
actually.
guns. They are nice
Yeah.
guns.
Yeah. Bows, then I tend to switch a little bit more often, but yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So,
Yeah.
this is a question for the masses. So, what advice would you give, let's say, a bow hunter wanting to hunt in Europe and abroad? What's the first thing they should look into?
I mean, the obvious thing is basically you need to bring some type of proof that you can bow hunt in your
Mhm.
own country. So you need your archery license for deer or whatever, you know.
Mhm.
And I mean, some nations, they will actually ask you for a bowhunter education thing. So take that bowhunter ed class. I mean, usually you pick up something when you're through that class.
I think you have to in the US. You have to take it anyway.
Yeah, some states absolutely. I
Mm.
mean, Alaska and Idaho and so on. When I was in Idaho, I needed my IBP or Bowhunter Ed thing.
Right.
Um, and then the other thing that has come up lately, you know, with this, yeah, it's basically, I think it was derived from this trophy transporting bullshit, you know, that is on. So nowadays it's complicated. You really have to check with their airline.
Hmm.
Do they really can you bring your bow?
Hmm.
So that's
Interesting.
super important to have, because some of these cheap airlines here in Europe, like Ryanair, they don't take any bows. They don't
Wow.
bring them. You can't bring them on the plane. So, and then, I mean, if you go to anywhere, I'd be very strict on getting some type of reference
Hmm.
and actually call that reference, because you call the outfitter or you call the guide, you know, and they will always have had bow hunters, you know, we know everything. And then you get there and those 25 yards are 35, 40 yards, and yeah, everything is stretched out, you know, and and if and I like my guides to have their own bow hunting experience. Then they know everything about it.
Right. Like a gun outfitter is not going to be able to really help a bow hunter and vice versa.
The problem is you lose 2 3 days of hunting to actually get a decent setup, you know.
Right.
And I've been there many times, you know, with unprofessional guides. And it's sad, you know, because when you travel, you have a window of 7 days or 6 days or something,
Mm.
and then you lose 3 days because the guide is not up to standard and or doesn't understand you, and be very frank, you know, with your needs. That's what I would be. And of course, there are really good outfits, you know, like bow hunting safari consultants.
Hmm.
They only cater with
Bow hunters.
to bow hunters, yeah. So,
Right.
so 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 that's another open door, you know, that you can actually access. And
Excellent.
then, yeah, I'm not sure if there's anything more. I mean, also, you know, read up on the regulations. You do not want to sit in jail in Tanzania. You know, you
No,
get
no.
the whole alphabet. You know, AIDS and malaria and everything there.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
so
Excellent.
it's better to be
Prepared.
prepared. Yes, yes.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Anders, I want to thank you so much for coming on. And thanks to Jim Thompson. And thanks to
Thank you,
CJ
Jim.
Winan. Yep, CJ, I'll be calling you. But at any rate, I want to thank you so much for
Yeah,
coming on and
yeah,
giving me your time. I really appreciate it. So
yeah.
stay in touch. We'll stay in touch.
Absolutely. We'll keep in touch there. You have a plan, an adventure in Europe, and we'll do our best here.
Excellent.
Also, please get on that EuropeanBowhunting.org website,
I
and you
will.
will see more information from that.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, people, on behalf of Drop Time Traditions podcast and Anders here, I want to thank everybody for listening. Please subscribe and like on YouTube. And you're on are you on Instagram or Facebook,
I
Anders?
am both, I think.
Okay. I will put a link on the description below the podcast. It's this podcast will probably go up Tuesday evening.
Okay.
So, and I'll send you a link
Yeah, yeah, super.
once I
Yeah,
publish it. Yep. And I'll send
I'll
one to
send
Jim.
it to all my good friends over here that are bow
Yes.
hunters.
And tell them
Yeah,
that don't be strangers, reach out. I'm very accessible.
beautiful,
All right.
beautiful.
All right, buddy. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much. Have a
All right.
good weekend now.
You do the same. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.